One. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Running the Gauntlet Week 7. We are officially done with the regular season. So this means we are transitioning to playoffs, wrapping up the last Running the Gauntlet that will cover all of the teams in the tournament. We'll get to talk about who is knocked out, who is finally gone, as well as discussing their placements, where's everyone going as we advance into playoffs. It will also be the last weekend we cover, fingers crossed, 16 games in a week. I am yet again joined by illustrious and beautiful, with his beard, co-host Luyten. Luyten, how you doing?
Interesting comment. I can't imagine why you said that. Doing good. Freshly unshaven, you know?
That's what I like to hear. I think you're looking great, rough and tumble.
Yeah.
And then I am joined by great friend, captain of Nova Chrysalis, Haumea himself. Haumea, how you doing?
What up, gang? I'm doing all right.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Without further ado, we're going to try to be on track this episode, though it always goes away. We can dive into a discussion of the standings, and I can say with pride, this is the standings. These are the teams officially passing on in upper bracket if you're in green, passing on in lower bracket if you're in yellow, and eliminated from the tournament already if you are in the red. You guys think there's any surprising things now that everything has worked itself out?
Rest in peace, 07.
Yeah.
Dude, the promised team, bro. Close, but not close enough.
Dude, they got...
Uh,
or go ahead, Haumea.
I was gonna say also Luyten's super team first, just as predicted before the tournament started.
Just as predicted.
My humble team second.
I'm putting a bounty on Luyten's team. Whoever eliminates Luyten's team can get me to do anything they want on stream as long as it doesn't violate Twitch TOS. Openly.
That's pretty good deal.
Whoever does it.
I might throw
well, wait, hold on. I do want to say 07 was Crizzo, or I shouldn't say that, Boom gapped.
TG Boom.
Because TG Boom went on vacation the weekend before this one.
He went.
And then they lost those series. He was here this weekend, but the damage was already done. Also, shout out Jay Rich calling KTN on the phone to get him to the series, so that way SI did not just FF their match deciding series.
What's the opposite of a shout out for that one? Because
a whisper
biased,
down.
But...
I don't know.
that was definitely
just calling him out, maybe.
It's crazy. J Rich is in the pockets of SI, bro.
They actually paid for it. It's crazy.
Paid.
We can come back to talk about the rest of this, but please note all the seats, just direct order top to bottom. This does account for tiebreakers. As we move on to discuss how the bracket is actually going to work. So upper bracket matches, whoa, fuck that up really bad. Upper bracket matches just laid out with your times. Please note, I believe that since Luyten screenshot these, they are in EST.
Oh, yes, these should be EST.
But if
one of, I believe AWB and WoW have also agreed to swap those game times.
AWB, WoW, has Poro Pounders also agreed?
Yeah, they all agreed.
Yeah,
okay,
pretty sure all four agreed.
Just swap those in your mental note. If you want the time localized to your time zone, there is an announcement in Tournament Announcements by VLN himself that links you to a website that has these. We'll be getting them embedded onto our website hopefully tomorrow, or when you're seeing this today. But these are your matches for your upper bracket. And then please keep in mind all the teams previously highlighted in yellow are knocked to the lower bracket, meaning they're effectively playing a single elimination finals tournament. The only thing to note with this is that the 5th seed is actually getting the winner of the loser of seed 1 versus seed 4, seed 1 of the opposite pool. Right?
No, seed 1 of the same pool.
Okay.
So they get seed 4 of the opposite pool.
Yeah, so the math behind that is technically it is an advantage for 5th seed to play against the 4th seed since they are lower seed than the expected loss of 2nd versus 3rd, which would be 3rd. So 6th seed plays 3rd seed, they're expected to lose. 5th seed plays 4th seed, expected to be a closer match. And this takes us all the way to Grand Finals. Do we have an image in it for Grand Finals? No, we'll just go to the first
this
match.
one does not, yeah.
So this, you can track those for all of your game time when the game will be, when the match's actual time. There it is. But without further ado, we can get into V8 versus Wizards of Wahoo. I just want you to know ahead of time that I'm smoking on the Happier Cat pack, just so you know, because I tuned in, not to this series, but I tuned into Biomatrix streaming the NS game for V8, and she said in chat, V8 is ... not very good. And so she beat us, immediately started yapping again. She was not humbled from her losses. She was not humbled from TV and hers beef. She just was waiting to get the win. And when they did, I can't even lie. This series was, admittedly, not very fun for me to play. I kind of got I think I did the best on our team, but we just lost literally around the map. Look at our team's KDAs. It's borderline a GG over moment. Also, I famously say I had 17 direct messages being sent to me as this game was going on. And so I was not very locked in, despite performing against a Masters tier top laner pretty well. But Ping Spam said it best in this game. We literally lost everywhere. Bubbles, who does our draft, as we were loading into the game, said we drafted 3 losing lanes. So that wasn't very rewarding to hear. And we just lost, right? Like, look at it, right, guys? Like, y'all see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, low-key, he is right. You guys don't have a single winning lane, actually.
Did you feel at least a little better losing to a set?
I think if you watch it back, okay,
PV, like the game, not like 1v1.
PV to performance, I gapped Zeotal. Okay,
right.
Keep in mind, Masters top laner versus 39% win rate Silver top laner off his one trick.
I mean, if you think about it,
what's the almost Flame Horizon though? Any comments on that?
CS is a useless stat.
But like, if you think about it, right, Luyten, if you think about it, he's barely ahead. So oh wait, I was looking at the wrong person. Never mind.
Yeah, you got to look at me.
I looked at Bubbles' goal.
CS is a fake stat because if you are playing a side laning set and your team's just winning 1-3-1, you're gonna get access to all the CS in the world. I'm an Ornn. I don't even need to CS, right? I just need to soak XP and scale items, you know? So the Flame Horizon doesn't matter to me.
Honestly, I completely agree. CSing is fake, and we should abolish CSing.
That guy hit Diamond 3, by the way.
Donated more to TV, because he's got the same gold as enemy support. I think that's a you problem right there, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with TV. He had a phenomenal weekend last weekend and he wanted us to turbo glaze him, and I guess because he didn't, he decided to hold us hostage. As we go into the second game, it's actually a whole lot closer. Please note, Very Last Nerve did not play this series. It is Ago top lane. It started out really, really rough for V8, and then Ping Spam and TV kind of linked up, started making some plays, and Agu, who I think starts out either 02 or 03, just comes alive because the Gwen champion scales. This is actually a horrific matchup for Gwen. Set is supposed to just beat the ever-loving daylights out of Gwen and get an early lead pre-6 that just has him snowball so hard. But Agu comes back in. We just still outright lose. Like, it is... I joined the call with my team to talk about this, and there was a lot of crashing out happening live. I won't speak on everything because I would be banned. Not literally, of course, but I don't think we learned anything from this loss because we didn't really want to look back at it. We rewatched some plays, some roams, went over it, but I think they were just ready to be out of it.
Honestly, this game looks pretty close. I think it looks like I can imagine the main problem was the Fiddle chunking you guys and then Jinx just farming resets. But this definitely looked really competitive. It's kind of a shame that the series was a 2-0 because I think this could have been really interesting if you guys managed to snag the second game.
Yeah, if we win even one of these games, then like we only needed one win off Nova Chrysalis the next week. I'm pretty sure we didn't even have to win. This game was just literally ping spam was like Agu is doing his own thing, winning, and then ping spam with the 4 is like their primary kill condition, and I think they just didn't necessarily play for ping spam to the best of their abilities. And so if you watch it back, ping spam's able to pick up 1 kill, maybe 2, but then when he dies, Hecarim, Talia, Lulu aren't going to beat a Jinx the moment that Jinx gets the reset from Tristana, and it just rolls over our team. GG. But ping spam also admittedly did one grief play. This game was streamed and he is sitting in the bush that's like right outside the gate when you're leaving your base that the enemy team can't get through, and he's on ward, just gets obliterated, and they win a lot from that. But all in all, I was expecting to at least get a game this series. I was sad that we did not.
If you did, you would have been 4th seed. Based off standings, because you were behind 1 point. If you win a game, you both shift a point, so you would have been ahead a point.
That's crazy.
So unfortunate, but
truly.
The one thing I noticed with these is I think WoW is pretty damn good at noticing or like recognizing win conditions or like win pushes. They have like really low kills or just really fast game times. A lot of the time, like the game before, it was only 17-4, 25 minutes. Like they're pretty good at ending, from what I can tell.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. Or go ahead, Haumea.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Nah, you go. You're the guest. You always speak first.
Yeah, I agree. I think their biggest strength is knowing, like you said, when the game can be over, which doesn't really make sense but like, if you think about it, like our game, for example, they knew even if the fight at Drag went poorly, they would just instantly end the game. And I think they are really like cognizant of their win conditions, and they're able to play around it well. And I think they're the type of team that if you shut them down early, you can win against them. But if you let them like play to their win condition, it's hard to beat them. So I think I just think that's like unfortunately that's what happened in your guys' series, and you weren't able to deal with that. But I do think that it was like an admirable attempt, and it also is a shame that it's like a 1 point difference. Like 1 point just like was the deciding between you being an upper bracket or not.
Yeah, it's also really, really sad that we have never played WoW without VLN influencing the match. I actually think main roster v main roster, if you run it 100 times, we probably get way closer to like a 50-50. But in these series, if I'm having to play, you really have to account for the fact that we hard lose the game that I'm in, and then that affects the mental of the team as we go into the next one. I think if we see this matchup in playoffs, it will be way, way different. But enough glaze at my team on a 2-0 loss. We can move on to the next match, which is GT versus MBR. This is the best match of regular season altogether. Openly, I want to say that. Oh, we don't have the... Oh, I just double-clicked it. Never mind. I just double-clicked. That's my bad. This is the second time MBR has played their full main roster in a series. And it was the only other time was also against GT. So I think you can see who MBR considers to be a threat. And
I think it's justified.
Yeah, this game, are we sure this goal graph is right? Well, it has to be because purple wins, but it looks like MBR just like has a winning lane. You can see the oh my gosh, I'm looking at the wrong side. The team like plays pretty effectively. I believe this is OSHA Inspector on the Ezreal. Gets to be very, very passive. But a Darius jungle, which I believe is I'm forgetting
Xiao
names now. Is Zhao Long. Sorry, that's on me. Is like just cutting through people with this pick. We also seen KTM play with it. I guess Darius jungle is meta right now. Is it?
Yeah, it is meta right now with that Ghostblade build, because you just become too fast to kite, and your early game Darius's early game is really strong, and I think the biggest thing is his clear is insane because of the way I think his bleed has like a 300% uh, like buff on cabs, so he just clears cabs really fast. I think I read somewhere his clear is like either like one of the fastest, if not the fastest, and then with Ghostblade, you can't get outran in any sort of fight. And when like in this meta, you really want to stack dragons or play around grubs, and having to walk into Darius is pretty unplayable for most champions. And with how fast he is, yeah, you can't get away from him. So
Yeah.
actually really like that they picked Darius here because I actually think it's really good into their chaps. It's really only not that good into Ezreal. It's okay into Syndrome, but eventually, like you have to walk into him at an objective, and it's like, well, he has Ghost and Ghostblade. You won't get away from him unless you manage to CC him long enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we've seen it in other series. It's like freaky strong. I also want to give Zhao Long like hard carries this game. STL never even comes alive on the Jinx, as you can see. But I also want to give a shout out to Kessler. Kessler is against Yeet Yo Yate this game. It's actually Gumby Jungle, um, which I think Kessler does a fantastic job being a Stonewall player and not necessarily letting Yo Yate or Gumby when he's in mid lane get too far ahead. Which in any other series that you see MBR play those players and they just dominate, it's because those two come alive, whether it's in the jungle or in the mid lane. And I think Kessler is a perfect counter matchup for that altogether. And then moving on to this game two, which is way more in total GT sided. I believe that this is this was
Same
CC
players.
Swift, right? In the top lane?
No. Or yeah.
For
Yes.
GT. This is where you get the Kessler show. This is what I was alluding to earlier. Kessler gets his Swain and is just crazy strong. I believe there's a clip of him like 1v3ing in this game. Just
I'm
champion
kind of
strength.
confused how this was allowed in a draft. Like, they picked 3 AP champs into. I mean, I don't know if the. I would assume he picked Swade early, so they responded with triple AP champs, and Swade is just having a field day. There's not enough damage to kill him on this comp. Like, who is a threat to him? Like, he just goes what? Like, you see, he has one MR item in Mercs, and it's impossible for him to ever die. And the champs can't get away from him either. Even with the Jinx not even being that strong, it's just like there's nothing anyone can do. Same with Vi. Like, Vi just goes like Merc treads and some MR, and it's like, well, good luck killing the guy.
Yeah,
I feel like this was just a big blunder in draft.
let's jump this back to look at the bans. It looks like MBR bans Twitch, Viego, Vayne. The Viego makes sense. That's Xiaolong's OTP leaking for the team. Twitch Vayne is crazy to me because like every series GT has played where they can pick Jinx Lulu, they pick Jinx Lulu.
Yeah, but has he got a penta on Jinx?
I
I actually
suppose.
feel like he might have.
Yeah, I
but
do think he has.
I know he's got one on Vayne, so you know.
I do think that is a crazy mismatch on the draft. I remember talking to people about this game as it was going on. Great counterplay here. The Ezreal gets really, really fed. Also, if you see flashes, I'm in the middle of a thunderstorm, just so y'all know. I don't know if y'all just saw that one. It like blinded me for a second. Also, if you hear the thunder rumbling, I'm sorry. But the Ezreal here is technically he can flicker back into his team and then kill the Vi, but just permanently having the Vi potential to cut off the Ezreal that scaled super, super hard or pick him if they ever need to or have a way to catch him was a really good counter draft, especially because you don't see OSHA do well on the Ezreal the first game, but they still pick for it like as a counter. And I really think that the Vi is only necessarily good into the Pyke Ezreal here. I don't necessarily think it's better for the rest of the matchups with the catch on the ultimate.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm extremely biased, but I think he had a really good game, especially considering the bot lane matchup. And honestly, I didn't see the full game, but I watched around the 20-minute mark a good bit, and he got them to a pretty winning spot, in my opinion. Obviously, with Gumby's support and whatnot, but They then full engage with the Mumu ult and everything onto a solo Shin, and they like just lose the game off that. They lose Baron Tower. It just all fell apart from there. I think the game ended like really fast after. I think it's
Yeah,
that
if you look at the huge,
it might have been. I don't even think it was Baron after that. Then it might have just been a full end after that Shin engage.
yeah, it's
So I think NBR had a chance and they kind of threw it away.
Yeah, also huge shout out as well for CC Swift, because technically CC Swift versus Xenix, I believe Xenix is peak diamond, and CC Swift's peak was Emerald 4 when Emerald rolled out, and he has not touched it since. No offense to CC. He has a very dominant showing here.
Yeah, he played really well.
But yeah, another just absolute Smurf 2-0 puts a lot of strength in my GT support. I love to see GT. They jump from like 5th seed to 2nd seed in 1 weekend of games, absolutely smashing, because they finally get to play their best roster.
Yeah, this is a really necessary one
we
for
like
them.
GT here.
We're GT
Big fan
stands.
of that team.
On to the next one, though, which is Summit Admins versus Lacuna Matata. I believe that this series also had big playoff potential. I think Summit Admins, when this series happened, was 3, or Summit Admins was 4 and Lacuna Matata was 3. And then like going into the series, Lacuna Matata gets a smash 2-0, I'm pretty sure. I think I tuned into Gar's stream here. Who is the lowest elo player on Lacuna Matata? Or no, it's Acid Step plays Warwick top here into Gar Goomba, who we have been hailing as like the god of top lane for this tournament, best PV to performance top laner. And Gar himself alt tabbed out of game 1 on stream when I watched it and I said, how's it going? Are you winning, son? And he said, GG, I gave Acid Step Warwick top. So I guess he kind of got stonewalled by that pick.
I mean, Warwick top is just very degenerate, so I'm not even mad at him. But the thing with, so looking at this game, I've seen Sivir a few times. I'm just not a fan of that champion, I think. I'm not sure why. It just feels like whenever I see someone play Sivir, I just think, well, wasn't there just something better that you could have picked? But maybe that's just my bias showing. Also, I think when I look at Lacuna Matata's team, I feel like they are pretty heavy AP. Even Varus kind of does a lot of AP, I think. And I don't know, it feels like I'm not really sure what happened entirely, but I think it might have really just been the Warwick top that actually just made the game unplayable.
I mean,
that made Gar unplayable, but you got to look at the Volibear jungle here, right?
Riddy might be washed losing to a D2 jungler, or
how does Riddy? Well, okay,
I think,
allegedly D2 jungler. He has not hit it, just so it is known. But go ahead with your analysis. So you can go ahead.
I unfortunately didn't get to the PV analysis on all of these, but I do think this is SMA favored. I want to say like their bot side. It's kind of equal top side of the map with Acid Step top, but the bot side. Oh no, it's Solar Flare, and I think it's pretty neutral, so it's not terribly surprising. But Lacuna definitely overperformed here, I think.
Yeah, I'm just more surprised that Riddy, a player who knows Lacuna and what Lacuna plays, lets the Volibear jungle through, especially with how it's been performing in this tournament. Every game Lacuna has gotten Volibear jungle, whether or not his team wins or loses, he has done well.
I mean, I think it has to he probably just felt like he could play into it with Lilia, which I do agree. I think he should be able to play in it. I think Volibear could have trouble doing much into this composition. If you look at it like how he really can't deal with any of those champions except Yeln. So he probably just assumed it would be completely fine for him. He would like outpace the Volibear, and then even though Volibear would probably have more effective gags, like around like 2-3 items, he would just be far more impactful. Which I don't blame him for thinking that, but clearly that was not the case because Lacuna just like almost like drops an insane bomb this game.
I think their bans were fine as well. They put respect on Solar Flare, and then both of the mid laners made best champs. So
and then
I think that's okay.
We do see. So I watched this game, like the very end of it. Riddy had the most calm crash out I've ever seen. And as they load into the second game, You can see like they don't necessarily adapt their pick bans in the same way. We do see the Warwick go away, uh, and Lacuna will lock in the volley bear again. And in that calm crash out, like Riddy is angry at the loss. I don't think he's actually mad. But like one thing he's talking about is like how resources allotted, and I believe he even talks about prepping for ganks, because like volley bear just scaled or snowballed, excuse me. And when you look into this series, you see same thing, like 5-1, not necessarily a 16-2 performance. Riddy just ego checks the volley bear ban, I guess, and they just hard lose to it yet again. Uh, and this time they don't even have, like, keep in mind, this is not Lacuna Matata's best roster. They do not have Sprinkler in this game. And they do not have, or they do have Solar Flare. Never mind. They just don't have Sprinkler, their top laner. Uh, and then Mel just drops a thermonuclear explosive instead. Another 16-2 game.
I'm a little confused at the Malphite pick, but it is what it is. But I think this is kind of my concern with Summit, is that like against some of the higher point rosters, I think they or lower point rosters in playoffs, I think they might struggle a bit because this isn't too far off from their best roster, if I remember right. So if they can't pull it off against not even Lacuna's best, then there's definitely some room for concern.
It makes me wonder, like, how much value does a Grandmaster jungler like have versus like Lacuna, who is currently hard stuck Emerald. And it's like I feel like Summit admins put so much pressure on Riddy, and when you're looking at this on paper, it's like, well, Riddy should be 135-0 against Lacuna because of the gap. And then jungle is just affected by losing lanes in game state. And then you're Riddy and you're like, I'm a GM, I want to perform, but my team's just losing around the map. And what is the easiest role to win with if you have 3 winning lanes? Jungle. And you get Lacuna with 3 winning lanes in this game. Just absolutely smacking.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to do anything in this type of game where you just have, like, you're losing every lane. There's no prio in any lane. You can't really make plays, but you have to make plays. I can definitely see. I do feel like he probably does feel pressured as their best player. He probably just feel like a lot of the weight of their performance is on him. And I definitely think that could be affecting his play, especially if like things go bad early. I do think he is a really good player, so I'm not too worried. And I think in playoffs they should find their footing, especially with more time to like uh get like used to each other and like have a better like have more time to plan against like the enemy team.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm also praying on all Pool 2 teams' downfall. So down with
Hey,
Riddy. Down with
real. Oh
Riddy.
my god.
Luna, you got anything you want to say about the series? About Riddy, maybe?
Down with Pool 2, I agree.
Okay, yeah, Pool 1 stands. On to the next
I'll
game.
DM my thoughts already,
Yeah, just tell him you hate him.
The real thoughts.
On to Nova Chrysalis versus AWB. I am going to let Haumea say his piece about this game. But before we get into the game analysis, I want to, as T. O'Reilly, take a second to say, officially added to the rulebook on the website is that any pick that you are that you draft, does not matter the reason, is expected to be played. I understand that this can have client bug issues. I understand, especially if you're drafting outside of the site, they might random pick. The problem is that we cannot field verify that, and the rule exists in place to prevent people from picking a pick, seeing their comp, recognizing a mistake, and then just being like, client bug, back out, change their draft, or adapt things after quitting a game and rejoining with additional knowledge. Yeah. Exactly. Really just don't want that to happen. It is unfortunate openly that what happened to Nova Chrysalis in this game, especially as it affected their mental going into game 2. I've spent an extensive amount of time talking with both Haumea above. It's almost like it's a PR. Like we brought Haumea on the week. It looks like a PR move, but it was just happenstance. And I've talked with the team extensively. And Haumea, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like everyone here is on a good state. Are we all good?
No, down with the server. No, I'm just kidding. We're all good.
Okay. Well, then I'll leave game analysis to you if you got anything that you want to say.
Well, it's looking a little grim, huh? I think I think having two players first timing champions, a little awkward. Also, the casual nearly 50k damage from a loot. It's low key kind of crazy, by the way, if you think about it. How like if you look at the damage, it's actually just a lewd. It's a lewd against Billy, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
That's actually just how this game went. But it is unfortunate the draft issues, but yeah, I don't think there's really that much to say about this game.
I
It's
do
kind
want
of a
to.
perfect Ash game, honestly. Like, it's so disgusting.
I do just want it out there that I think with a oh my god, the lightning definitely came through on that one. Um, Despite the pick, you can actually see there is a moment in this game, a pretty sizable length of time, that Nova Chrysalis is winning. I think if this hadn't been such an issue on our part openly, I think Nova Chrysalis could have won with this draft. Like I think now that this rule is in, and it wouldn't make people mad if it happened, I think Nova Chrysalis could have won this game.
So are you saying they lost because of tilt, or
I think they felt that this game was lost the moment they loaded in. And I think if you go at it with a more open mind from 0-0, not talking about necessarily,
yeah.
I think there's a lot more counterplay to it where I could even see them winning.
I think this one was cooked from draft. Like I said, I think this is the perfect Ash game into short ADCs and a Lilia. I think it's really hard to win this one.
Damn.
Like they did their damnedest. I thought they were gonna win for a bit, and then I realized how bad the draft gap was once that started turning.
Yeah, I actually tuned in to the game, and I just saw a loon kill, I think 3 people in a row, just mid lane, lawn mower Ash. And after that, I was like, okay, yeah, this might be cooked. But yeah, it is probably like one of the best Ash games you could ever have.
If you have Wolf on a champ that can sprint it, maybe they win.
Yeah, but a
Oh
loon
my
doesn't let him
god.
be on a champ that can sprint it.
I don't. I I don't know if I can say this. I'm gonna I knew he was gonna go Ivor in game 2. Yes, I was saying to myself, if this guy goes any other champ, they just lose the game.
Yeah.
But he's on Ivor. Lewin is has him on a leash. He's like, listen, you're gonna play Ivor for me. And he's like, yes, sir. And he just
I
17 assists.
That leash got
That's
tested, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I do want you to know, according to Woof Woof, his full team has him muted during draft. They do not listen to what he says pick and just lock him champions.
Not crazy.
I mean, it's Woof Woof. I think I'll say it publicly.
It's the right move.
Woof Woof's a snake, just so it's on record. This series plus the reschedule, Woof Woof's a snake. If I support all Pool 1 homies and teams, I do not support Woof Woof specifically, just so it's known.
Real.
And then we go into the second game, which is a 18-minute FF. I do want to remind people that you are not allowed to FF games. I understand that as anger is involved, and again, I spoke extensively with Nova Chrysalis after the game, things you don't really care about rules and whatnot. I completely understand. As I've resolved with the team, there's blanket amnesty granted to this. In the future, I cannot guarantee that to teams, especially as the rule book becomes much, 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 much more defined. But, I mean, yeah, there probably just isn't anything to say this game. They're all mad. Nova Chrysalis was literally alt-tabbing, right, because they were upset. The game's just over. And it's kind of a smash.
Theme in our losses, by the way, with a certain top lane champion. I see a theme.
Hold on, wait.
I will not speak further.
Are you leaking that
no.
Set beats you? Is that what we're learning?
I will not speak further for fear of my lawyers contacting me.
Okay. Well, then
You know they got clipped on by a set, so maybe
He did get clipped on by
Set is first off, just so you everyone's aware that Set is the strongest he's ever been since release right now, like as a champion.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he's like 54% win rate top. And this is not the build that you abuse it on, by the way. It's like Stride into Sundered Sky into Bloodlords.
Bloodlords.
Into Bloodlords is just so good. Like with those 3 items, you're like 3 to like 3,500 true damage
Oh,
W. You literally blow up.
you would have hated my set build the other day. I think I went stride into Cleaver.
Yeah, I don't think you
Love
should
it.
play top lane, Haumea, like ever.
No, that was mid though.
Yeah.
Well, mid, well, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I should have messaged you for the build.
Yeah,
Lucky.
I got to coach Owlbird today. He was playing in ranked Tryndamere versus Set, which is, by the way, one of Set's worst matchups. And I got to give him some coaching on that. But for this series, let's put it to bed. All parties involved have been talked to. Everything has been resolved. Let's go on to PP versus 2. The biggest upset of the week, since I assign one every week. I do want to say publicly, Poro Pounders, if you're listening, and for future tournaments, we will be writing something in potentially about troll drafting in these games. Because I get, while your placement chances weren't affected, putting people randomly in different positions definitely affected the playoff chances of other teams. Just giving away lower seed teams a 2-0. Spoiler alert, it's a 2-0 for 2. Maybe not something that's the best for competitive integrity. But we can look at the games and you can see that I don't think they were necessarily trolling per se. Like, I think they took their trades seriously, maybe like another series that we'll talk about later. But it just still was a 2-0.
Wait, who is where on this? Like, who is where? Like,
Oh, it's a lot. I'm pretty sure Talon is Levi.
Yes, it is Levi Jungle. I remember that.
Different is Yon.
Yeah,
Katsuki or Grape is Caitlyn. Isodidect is Vigar. Giraffe Rider is Lux.
yeah. I'm glad you remember all that. Because I would not. All I knew was PP was top lane, or Different was top lane, and Levi was jungle.
Yeah.
And we have, for the first time, Edmato Kog'Maw, and it was really just, despite a 13-10 bye, the Edmato was like, I have to win us this game. And if you watch it back, like look at the gold ref, you get this one winning team fight. I believe this is just an Edmato straight front to back. The guy just plays the team fight perfectly and pops the team. And I don't think PP ever even thought they were in a losing position.
I think this is Edmonto's best season, and it's not close. Like, I think he's been the backbone of this team. I think Kuhn's starting to perform a little bit better, or Forrest.
I'm saying it on live. It's the Edge show. He's 1v9 every game.
Real.
There's
I
a
agree.
reason he is in the MVP vote contention. Because, or go ahead.
Wait, I don't even know if I can say this actually.
Well,
I think
you can say whatever you want aside from slurs, Haumea.
Can I say Can I say like?
You can
MVP
say who you
vote?
voted for.
Yeah,
because
it'll be
I
anyways.
in this
think
video.
I voted for Ed,
I think
like first
I
or
think that's
second,
based.
Yeah,
because that guy, I don't know. Like,
I
he
think
was
if you-
playing 1v5 every game. I
I think if you look at MVP as like you remove this player from the team and they get worsen, I think he is definitely like 1 or 2.
yeah.
I think LAXO and like Kuhn, like I said, are definitely up there, but I think Edmund is the backbone of that team right now.
If you replace Edmonto even with another ADC that's the same elo, I think this team is Pool 2's FF. Or I guess FF is in Pool 2, so there would be 2 of them. I like Luyten said, Edmonto has just performed at a level well above, and you also see it in like Leg's top tower. I think sometimes you get players who, when they're on a team that is not the best performing, 2 has been performing but not the best, they just like elevate their level of play, maybe entering flow state. And then you go into like game 2 where it's still just this one's a complete 2 smash, right? The piss colors all over the screen. And it's another series where Edmonto gets a champion he actually plays, right? Like every series 2 loses, you see Edmonto get trip banned at the beginning. And when you don't trip ban him, he's a machine gun shooting at defenseless children. Oh, okay. Well, that sounds
this one's
bad.
actually wow. That's a great one. But this is actually on roll, except Levi and Different swapped as well. Everybody else is on roll for this one,
that's actually kind of crazy.
and it was somehow a lot worse. So do with that what you. I mean, Draven, I guess, but still.
Yeah. I do also want 33 assist Borea this game. Like, again, when you look at two's performance altogether, you probably don't look at them as like a very strong team. But specifically the bot lane of Borea and Edmonto, I think is among the strongest bot lane. I would even be like, I even think like third. I would, after STL and Dumpling and then Different and Levi, those two you can put whatever position you want. I unironically think the next strongest bot lane is Edmonto Borea. I would put them above Luyten and Pandemonium.
I mean, I'm cooked, so yeah, that's fair.
I put them above Funny Button and Pandemonium.
I think, yeah, like we've gassed up Ed a lot. Borea definitely deserves a good bit of it as well. Find a good ADC is definitely a good support. So
yeah, and then we have, you said this is Hyun jungle? Why did I think Hyun was a top laner?
No, this is Hyun Jace.
Okay, so he is a top laner.
Jungle.
Okay.
He plays too much. He doesn't have
like the game too much.
No. He plays too many roles. I think his main two are top and jungle though.
Okay, that's good to know.
Don't quote me on that.
Because when they did swap out Jin jungle for Hyun, I was like, oh, they just got another top laner. I guess someone has to go jungle, but I guess he's a jungler.
I'm pretty sure he jungled next or the Sunday game.
I think he. So. Okay, did he not jungle this first game?
No, he played Cassio, I think. That Alioxo was the Y.
Okay, well that's fake. If you play Cassiopeia top laner, you're not a top laner. I'm saying it live.
Oof.
But yeah, I do want to say, PP, if you're listening, I don't think you guys necessarily trolled in the game, right? Like I think you played it to win it. Just swapping them up for the end of season definitely impacted things. I think this series actually just locks two into like playoffs guaranteed and kills Leg's. I think Leg had like a 1.5% chance.
Yeah.
But
that sounds right.
On to the next one. Unless Haumea, you got anything you want to say about these two teams?
Not really.
They're Group 2. They're frauds.
Yeah, Group 2. All of Group 2 will lose, except one team, just so you know. And then this is the titular. So Subtly Inting does actually owe their entire playoff chances to Molly the dog. They get a free 3 points here. Technically, 07 also had the 3 points against MDFC because they 2-0'd them. But it's free here. Any single game would influence the full match result. And J. Rich called KTN to get him in the game on Sunday. So MDFC double saves Subtly Inting. This match, of course, is a forfeit, though. I mean, does anyone think it would have resulted? I think there's a chance MDFC takes one game.
There's a chance it's a 2-1, yeah. I think for sure. I don't know about who the rosters would have been, but I think, MDFC not caring anymore might be able to let them play a little better.
Yeah, they definitely get to play their best players because they don't have to worry about the force play rules. It's just the honest answer. They're mathematically eliminated.
Regardless.
But, I mean, not much to say about an FF, right? And then Glue Factory versus 07, which did everything to legitimize my hate of Luyten. Reducing my belief down to nothing in a quick 2-0 fashion. RIP the last battle of the two piss teams. Luyten, why don't you give us your best analysis?
I unironically came into this series, I saw our roster, and I thought, yeah, we probably lose to 07. I don't know what happened. I mean, Naki absolutely destroyed on Syndra. He legit, like, we hit mid-game, and we start lane swapping and stuff, and there's, like, 3 minutes in which he just one-shot somebody, they respawn, he one-shot somebody, they respawn, and he one-shots them again. Like, it was kind of disgusting, and it just won us most of the game. I think Naki just had a really good series. I didn't get to play Jinx, so that's always a good one, Maybe I'm not a fraud. I probably am, though.
He's a fraud.
I think this was also Damio's best game by far. His Wukong performance was really good. I think if you go back to the other one, I think we were losing for a little bit, and he had like all of our gold, and he turned it around with Ganker 2 bot lane and mid lane, if I remember right.
I do. Damien Naruto, interesting fact, lore fact, joined for a tournament at the time Wukong OTP. Wukong was permabanned because it was when Wukong had just got the 2Rs rework. So like he was pick banned in every series. Damian Naruto left. The server was gone. And I happened to, in this tournament, DM everyone I was still friends with on Discord and bring him back to see him get to lock the Wukong now because he's not top meta. But then isn't Wukong like still top meta now? Like he comes back into it.
He's pretty high meta right now, I'd say, yeah.
And Damian Naruto does get to perform because he pilots his champion well, and his champion is really strong right now.
Yeah.
But then on to the second game, where 07 had a chance.
They gave us Kiana. What can I say? I don't know.
You know,
also this Corki champ is not balanced. Like, there's no way.
Well, I have a distinct memory of my good friend Luyten playing Corki, being very far ahead, and then pressing the dash key into a Mordekaiser and getting ulted and dying. So,
yeah, but I'd win those, you know.
Yeah, I guess. I also have a distinct memory, again, not to put Luyten on blast, of someone on Running the Gauntlet saying Naki would never lock Kiana in a tournament game.
Yeah, I kind of changed his mind on that. That's on me.
Wow, actually instigating against 07.
Luyten and lying.
Lion Luyten.
Classic. Yeah, I felt bad. I wanted to have them get a game at least, but with how those games went, it's hard to say that they could have got it in a way, you know.
Yeah.
I don't remember the PV gap or anything, but
it looks like it's
Boom
35.
had a really good performance for a bit. Oh, that's a remnant from last week. Ignore that one.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, my bad.
This game looks pretty hard for 07, actually, just looking at the champions on Glue Factory.
I think Boom played well early in both games. He played really well this game, especially. But it's just so hard for them to play these from draft
I agree.
after we get any gold lead.
It's also like, if you draft Aphelios, you lose the game. Just straight up.
Many are saying this.
Yeah, like I unironically think in our tournament environment, that champion is cursed.
It might have. I'm gonna have to dig into that. It might have a positive win rate. Isolation's been really good on it, as well as Legs 180C. I think he's got a couple of wins on it.
I would love to actually stats head Luyten, get on that, figure that out, get all that shit together and get that shit figured out.
I'll try to get some pick ban and win rates of champs.
Okay,
but that'll take some work.
Haumea, how do you feel about Glue Factory? You know, completely killing 07.
You know, of course they have to just kill the fan favorite team. Another crime to their massive list.
Are we the baddies?
You guys are.
I was there. The other thing with this game was this was Hussal Galio top lane. He spent half the game not top lane. He was just roaming everywhere like an absolute freak, and it was pretty funny. It kind of worked for a bit. He helped mid lane a lot because it was a losing state for both top and mid. So he just said, "Yeah, I'm gonna go help mid. There's no point."
Yeah.
I stand by 07 being probably the most fun team to play against. They're a hell of a opponent.
Yeah, 07 for 07. I'll throw it out there for you.
07.
But then you have you have Coughing Baby versus Dying Coughing Baby.
Oh wait, the point gap is insane. Actually, it's a 10-point gap.
Yeah, it is. It is a smash, by the way, as well. Like if you need a reminder, like Haumea is pointing out, FF is 1-13, and
it shows the difference between a team who just kind of didn't work out versus a team that was doomed from the start. I think.
I 100% agree with you. I wrote a very kind message to Leg before deleting their group chats and stuff. I maintain that Leg, in any other tournament I ran, would have smashed the competition. The level of competition has just grown so much in GCS Season 1 as opposed to other things that I think this is a team that was more than the sum of their parts, but just not enough in comparison to others.
I could agree with that. Yep.
But then you have FF who, in their message for being eliminated, I wrote, "You will forever go down in GCS history," which is true. I don't think anyone will ever forget this team.
Yeah.
And then there just isn't anything to say. Like, they get smashed through game 1, and you look at game 2, and they just get absolutely smashed through in game 2. I believe this is like, yeah, no, I believe Top Tower is the NAR here, right?
Yes.
20-2.
He was effectively NAR ADC. Like, he chunked through people with no business to. Like,
That's insane.
There is... Bronze Cena is getting better at the game every day. I do want to give him credit for that. He is, I think, given the top lane pool and how strong they are, unfortunately, no matter how good Bronze Cena gets, he is just above VLN because the gap of every player above him is like ridiculously far.
That's rough.
It's not rough. What do you mean? Being compared to VLN is like it's a good thing, right, Haumea?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
See, thank you guys. There really isn't anything to say about this series. FF puts up a 2-0 whether they show up or not. You know what I mean? Or an 0-2, I should say. And then we go into Sunday, which is the literal last day make or break for a lot of teams. I get to stream them, which I was very, very happy for. I do not get to stream this game. I watch it, V8 versus Nova Chrysalis. This first game, I did not catch a lot of because I was still on stream at this time. I heard there was like a ridiculous delay in this game starting, right, Haumea?
Yes. What was the reason for the delay, though?
I don't know. I wasn't playing.
Oh, it was. I think we were waiting for your. I don't even remember. I'm gonna be real.
I was told that it was Nova Chrysalis' fault, just so we know.
Was it?
That's what I was told.
I remember now. I remember. We had to wait for our support.
Okay, that makes sense. From V8's side, I got to talk to them about this game. TV did really, really well on his Viego. He also did very, very well shot calling, and the team just kind of failed to follow up on it effectively. And then also Banana gets his Alawi and becomes unkillable. Was basically how they surmised this game to me, is that Banana got to do anything he wanted because they could send all 5 and the Alawi would kill him. And so they just lost in whatever lane he was in and couldn't win the team fight elsewhere.
Yeah, I remember we did. Where was it? I think it was Anacon, and he just killed the entire enemy team. And then there was another spot, I think, near Jag, where he just did the exact same thing again. So pretty much this game was just, like, I was just walking up mid, shoving, getting ganked, but it was fine because I looked top and Banana was just
ahead.
Like, 3k gold ahead. And I was like, well, that's cool. And I looked bot and my ADC was like 2k gold ahead. I was like, oh, that's nice. I guess we just win this game. And I looked jungle and my jungle was ahead as well. So
yeah, it is.
I do got carried.
So no, I think I did good early. I mean, I think I played pretty well early. I died to a gank that I misplayed, but it didn't really matter because they spent so much time trying to kill me that it was worth it in the end. Like the amount of like tempo they lost. So I think it was fine.
I do want to say that this game, Haumea won because he did not care that Agu could not make it due to family emergency meetings for this first game.
Whoa, wait.
Haumea capitalized on someone experiencing trauma in their real life.
That's not true.
For Banana to get this far ahead.
If we had to delay if he said we gotta delay 30 minutes, I would have been fine. No one told me that.
Then second game, Agu does actually show up and.
Can you refresh that real quick?
Yeah. Chat is gonna disappear for you. Remove the PP, refresh the PowerPoint.
There you go.
And then hit the slideshow, and then press the PP. Boom. What did we do that for, Luyten?
The numbers.
Oh, okay.
So, this impact was 16 points favor of 07.
Oh, shut up. We'll leave that in. I don't think that one needs to be edited out. But we get Agu, and you'll notice that the charts don't change. And that is just because, for some reason, I wasn't in call when it happened. I was watching the game on BioStream. Billy gets Jarvan. And I think Pandemonium said it best in chat. GG scripted win for Nova Chrysalis. Billy gets Jarvan. And he performs. He just performs. I don't...
Yeah.
Or go ahead.
Go
no,
on.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it was funny because when we were doing when I was doing the draft, I got the third pick and we were talking about what to pick, and I think our support was like, "Wait, they left up Jarvan." I was like, "What?" So I looked, and Jarvan was up. I was like, do we just pick it?" And Bill was like, "Yeah, pick it," and we just picked Jarvan, and we were kind of just like laughing because we were like surprised Jarvan was left up, and then like, I mean, you could see like Jarvan and Ash just,
Yeah, it's just like...
dominate. I mean, I think I played well as well. Like I got a solo kill mid. I think I played pretty well. There was like a really nice combo I got with Billy. We like 5-man Ori Jarvan ult them in their base. It was pretty nice.
All I'm hearing is you maybe just don't ban Jarvan and hope you guys are blind to draft in playoffs.
Well, it's like, I don't know what it was, because we're blue side this game. And maybe they were planning to take it and then just didn't. And it's like, it's over. But
I'm pretty sure it's also a BU and Kate. And it's like, I don't think that was highly contested. Or
ping spam...
I think ping spam doesn't need to blind there. So
yeah, I don't know. We need to focus on drafting as we go into playoffs. Is my takeaway from this game. Haumea, what's your takeaway?
I think takeaway is like, I mean, I'll say this again. I just think it's a bit unfortunate because your strong points are not mismatching to our strong points. So, like, you have a strong jungler, but our jungler is stronger. You have a strong ADC, but our support is stronger than your support. So it doesn't really line up. And I just don't think you guys could get any advantages against us anywhere. I think in this series and the previous series. So I think that's like why you guys lost both times to us. I don't think you can really get advantages, and it kind of just goes downhill from there.
He won 2-0, so I just have to eat that. I can't say anything in response.
No, I didn't even mean it as like flame. I just mean it as like that's like.
It's just how it goes.
I just think it's like how the matchup is like, like some with other teams, like you might have like a jungle mismatch or an AD mismatch or something like that, but I don't think for us it's the case.
I don't want to dwell on the loss. I do think it's a bit of a brain gap that will be addressed in future games, making it way more competitive. And so just on to the next series, which is GT versus Lacuna Matata. Still no Sprinkler this game. I believe Sprinkler was just out this weekend. And so you get GT main roster again, I'm pretty sure. Both days they get their best roster. And we have CC Swift off tanks, which is not necessarily the best move unless it's Camille. But it doesn't matter because STL got to perform this game. And
well, I disagree. It's because Dumpling was finally unjailed.
Oh,
he's off
yes.
video duty.
That's this series. I want it to be known, okay? I did get to see this game. And a particular player on Lacuna Matata who has not hit Diamond 2 comes into all chat and says, Zig support, are we just trolling? Or something like that. Or like, they don't want to win this series or something like that. To which I have to remind people, Dumpling
is the 15-plate merchant.
Yeah, he like one-tricked Zig support like one game out of Masters almost. Like that is what he is. If anything, like STL jails Dumpling on meta supports. Banning his meta supports like they do here is just letting him play what he is better at in any game or any series. And it is, I'm glad you brought that up because I did forget it. I wanted to talk about that. I bet Lacuna was left stun-locked by what this was and how effective it was. And you see it paired up with the Caitlyn to just plate Goblin the whole game.
Yeah, I played with it. It worked well, and STL is definitely a better ADC than me, so even better that way.
Dude, my humble goat Luyten. Look at that. Actual friendly banter there.
How humble.
I mean, that one's pretty easy to say, but you know.
And then you go into the second game, which is like Lacuna Matata lost pretty much everywhere around the map. Who is this Acid Step playing the Mel, by the way? Who is their mid laner in these series?
It's no way.
No way. Hold on a minute. No way. Green. That's what I know. That's why my brain doesn't register
green.
it. You're playing phenomenally, brother. I believe No Way is their highest point player, and I believe he is a player doing really, really well. Right? Luton's fact checking me live. Hold on.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah, that is correct.
And this is
40 points.
This is versus Kessler, right? Or no, it is.
No, this is Seagull Slayer.
Yeah, that's because we get the Seagull Slayer lost in the Multiverse of Madness moment.
Yep.
Frags out on him. As Seagull, stick to Hecarim jungle. Please note that I only said Hecarim. And then game 2 is just even more dominant, I would argue, because you get Ziggs again, and you get the Ziggs Caitlyn, and they do exactly what Dumpling wants
they
to.
They didn't ban Ziggs this time?
No,
they just
they
left
ran the
it
exact
up?
same bans, except they didn't ban
Dude,
Braum.
you have to be... Okay, real talk. I'm going to say it. What are they doing, man? What?
Lacuna...
Yeah, because they don't even have to ban Kessler's picks. So you, like, really... Like, why are you not just saying, okay, they just destroyed a spot lane last game. Let's just ban Ziggs. Let's give them... Can you go back a slide?
Yeah, I got you.
Let's give them... I don't know. Let's give them... how is it called? Oh, my God, I don't remember that champion's name. Next to Lulu.
Milio.
Milio. Let's just give them Milio, guys. It's whatever. But instead, they just leave up the six. And the same thing happens again.
It's because Lacuna, I'll say it live this time. I kept it secret last time. Like, thought this was a troll pick. And I think it's just like, this is one of those picks. Like, you have to know history. You have to know players. I'll also tell you this. I'll live leak it. STL and Dumpling, in a series against people who don't know them, will always sit third bush in bot lane and wait for you to walk in a lane to kill them. Just knowing the history of players, like, you get these edge cases that you can think of, and Lacuna just didn't care. And GT drafts great, bans the Volibear jungle, as you see, bans the Gwen jungle away from Lacuna as well. And the one player who drops absolute thermonuclear explosives every game for Lacuna Matata fails to come online. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Ziggs looks like 2 seasons ago when they were running it, or when Luyten played it with them 3 seasons ago, and is just absolutely destroying them. And it's
more gold than mid lane and top lane.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
And it can't be any surprise to us three. We've seen it before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like that's a little. Well, did this match have playoff implications for LKMT?
This like GT game C2.
Yeah.
I mean, I really just think this is not doing your homework, but
I think that's a bit of a knowledge check and pulling out of pocket.
I guess, yeah. I guess they wouldn't have known, but after the first game, not banning it is criminal to me. And you have the freest first 3 as well, like I mentioned earlier, because Kessler's not playing, so you don't have to ban his picks.
Nobody on Lacuna's roster would have known about the Zig support.
I disagree.
Prior.
I do think this is a homework check, because if you look at the accounts Dumpling linked, which I forget the name of it, but the one he duo queued to like 1 game outside of Masters, it's not present on this season because he's been playing on Chubby Dumpling. But if you just go 1 season behind, you see 100 games of Zig support and then like 1 of everything else. It is like he OTP'd that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this,
I guess that is a little bit of homework then, but still.
This is just the slingshot. Like I said, GT goes from 5th seed at the start of the weekend to 2nd seed by the end of it. So shout out GT. I've been believing since day 1. Day dot. You know what I mean?
I've been believing since day 2.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm better than him.
Not as much as you, yeah.
So Summit Admins gets to play FF. Meant to be live on stream. I was like, what a banger game to go out on. Let's give FF their 15 minutes of fame. 20 minutes before the stream goes live, I'm in call with Bron Cena. I'm like, hey, you got a team to play today, right? And he goes, yeah, I do. We'll be there. And then I get on stream. I start the stream. I'm 5 minutes past the 10-minute wait, so 15 minutes total, and I get a message, and it's like, hey, Strand messages me, hey, FF is, or no, Bronze Cena messages me, we're FFing. I start talking about it on stream, and then Strand messages me and goes, Bronze Cena has not told me he's FFing. Riddy is telling me live right now that it happened because you're saying it on stream. Is this true? And I'm like, how did I get told you were going to play, and then you tell me you're FFing, and you haven't told the enemy captain? I don't know. FF will live in infamy. That's for certain.
Yep.
Son of a bro. That's so funny to me. Just like finding out from the stream.
Yeah, live finding out from the. I'll also.
Live finding.
I'm not going to leak my source, but I was told by a player on FF that for this game, they did not get the ping for who was going to play until day of. So.
Oh, shit.
Do with that information what you will. But we're just going to have to. I think this also locks Summon Admin's third seed, right?
Indeed.
Like it didn't matter if Lacuna Matata.
I don't.
Or,
I mean, if Lacuna won a game against GT, they would have
Yeah.
not been third seed.
No.
But yeah,
it puts them in contention for it then, I guess is what I was thinking.
yeah, they needed the 2-0 here to get third as a result of the other series. It was a 3-way tie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, odds are Summon Admin's 2-0s anyway, but just getting it for free is always fun.
Yeah.
And then we get another forfeit, Wizards of Wahoo versus MDFC. Also, just so everyone is very, very clear, this game being forfeited let Wizards of Wahoo qualify for playoffs because
MDFC might be the most real ones out there.
They really are. Just straight up, they homie carded teams in because if MDFC does not FF here, KitKat was out of town and still had a series to be played, but gets to show up on the present roster, like on his laptop or whatever, which you wouldn't want to be playing on if you have to. So the game gets submitted. KitKat gets a series and they qualify out of force play rules. So Happier Cat the other day in chat said, WoW kind of owes it to MDFC. Boom, pull that out. They just directly owe it to MDFC, saving their playoff seat. Shout out J Rich. Shout out to all the boys.
Shout out MDFC.
And then we get Sadness Incarnate. No offense to SI. I've just been an 07 believer. They only play one game this series because all SI had to do was win one. If they win one, they qualify over 07. 07 has to 2-0. And SI puts up a very dominant game. You can see from the gold graphs. This is, I believe, 07's best roster, and I believe it's SI's best roster as well. I believe Pyrosis shows up today. Or am I mistaken?
Yeah, Pyrosis is in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on 07's roster. It's up there, but I'm not sure if it's their best.
And it is the only change to SI here is that I also want to T. O'Reilly for a second. They had to get an emergency replacement for this game. Permanent replacement to the roster should be updated on the web or on the spreadsheet that all captains have. The reason we okayed it, which I actually talked to Vowels, he was also okay with it, is because the player they were replacing got arrested the night before the game and is in prison now, and gave like one of his last messages before being admitted into prison was to at everyone in the server tell them what happened, and then we had to get the replacement player. Which again, I just want to reiterate, that player playing got accepted by the opponent captain. They were cool with it. I told them that they had advantage there because it was literally day of game getting ready to play. Yeah, I mean, I can't really account for a dude getting arrested in real life. You know what I mean?
That is 07's best roster, except maybe Blue Lava Lamp over Super Chicken, but he's not much of a jungler, so.
Yeah. But just very dominant performance. KT in this game shows up late because he, despite the pings, thought the website match was right. So he was actually at the gym, even though David Edge told me he was joking. J Rich gives him the phone call. He shows up for the series, drops an 8-1 game. They just pack it up. I think it's, 27 minutes. I was going to say 25, but just a quick game one.
How many roles has David Edge won a game on? I think it might be a 3 now.
Definitely Sport and Jungle.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I know he's also he's undefeated in top lane.
Yeah, but the Ornn.
You know,
He's rivaling
Even as
Riddy.
the goat on horn.
he's one behind. I think Riddy is still the top of that one, but David Edge definitely doing his work.
Yeah. But like I said, 07 just FFs the rest of the series because Pool 1's locked. The moment that this game is won, the 2 teams that are eliminated are guaranteed out.
Yeah.
Well, we have the forfeit game screen. And so it is just over. And we go into cinema. Luyten, just take it away.
I mean, game 1, pretty serious, pretty legit. Aloon turbo gaps me early on. Unlucky. What can you do? That guy's pretty good at the game. But Tricycle and Panda kind of just hard carry this game, honestly. I don't really remember how. I mean, Teemo blind against Zeri. That's a fun one. You learned that one live, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I was very, very confused at what the fuck Aloon was doing.
It's honestly some of the funniest thing in the game. But like, this Teemo is disgusting. Just like we start running away from a fight where it's Zeri and Leona, and he just stays in there and fights it and wins it. And we're like, oh, okay, my bad. I guess we should have fought. Like, I don't know. I got piss carried. That's all I'll say. It was good stuff though. Then game 2, we came in with 2 plans. Plan 1, Draven mid Aphelios ADC, and 2, try to make Wolf's life a living hell.
Okay.
We didn't really do very well on option 2. We tried to invade early, and they worded it and they bailed out on it, which was a bummer. So that sucked. But it was working for a while, and then 2 immobile ADCs into G4 started to show itself, as well as this Cho'Gath build. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it until this game. The second he showed up on my screen, I was dead. You can't run from it. It's just faster than you. Like, there's nothing you can do. It's insane.
Yeah, it was very funny to see either you or Naki get hit with the knockup, the Cho'Gath knockup, and it was just, if you got hit, you died. There was literally, before you hit the ground, he would hit you, auto you once, and then feast, and you were just gone.
Yeah, pretty much. He ulted me for over half health later in the game, and like it was like bigger than his. He was pretty much ulting me from as big as his hitbox.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you at one point in lane you were 7-2, correct?
I was 6-0.
6-0 at one point in lane.
No, maybe it was 5-0. Yeah,
Is this the continuation of the Luyten losing on affiliate?
Hey, it's 50% win rate this season. It's doing okay. It's much worse than other affiliates, especially Solar Flares.
Is it also true? I actually live will revise. It's not that Luyten loses on Aphelios. It is that Luyten can only win on Aphelios when he does very poorly on the Aphelios itself.
I don't remember how I did this. That one game I did win. I don't think I did great. I think I did just mediocre. And then, so maybe, yeah.
And then the Giggling Goats, you were 1-4-3.
Oh, we lost that. Oh, wait, no, we won that game, but there was another one, I think, in Grand Finals that got destroyed by a Yasuo ADC, if I remember right. So,
yeah.
I wouldn't say it's consistently, if I lose, we win. But there's definitely, it's a higher win rate, maybe, than me being good.
Yeah, I suppose. And then this game 3 is just... How much did you pay Pal Woof Woof for this game 3?
$0 if you believe it.
Oh my God. What is this?
Wait a minute. What? What am I looking? Who is that? Him on Evelyn?
No, that's June on Evelyn. That's June Jungle.
June on Eve. Promech Nefiri ADC. Gapped me, by the way. 1v1 me. I think it was crazy.
You also have to include in this 1-13 Anivia all of the resurrect passives walls that, like, you have to kill him twice to get through effectively.
True. He had some great walls for us as well.
Yes, explicitly for you guys.
I'm also surprised to see a Dark when he's 1-13-7. That's pretty great.
He's playing for the shutdown to snowball off of it.
Yeah. Okay. No, so like last game was kind of fun, even despite the Cho'Gath. This game was probably the most fun I've had in this tournament. I was just Tricycle's demon that entire game, the little devil on his shoulder. I'd just put the ball in him, speed him up, and say, go kill them, because we were trying to get him the most kills in the tournament at 30. Unfortunately,
We didn't get that.
Naki and what's it called? Pandemonium KS too much. We didn't get it, but we did our best. So
I have two comments about this full series, which is one, it was absolutely lovely to cast over. This series broke me, and also it is the series I have gotten the most compliments over casting because it was so ridiculous, especially this game too. I want to jump back to it. I blew my voice out. Like the game 3, I am noticeably talking less because it physically hurt me to talk because I start screaming so loud I'm like red peaking my mic.
yeah,
and
I mean, how big was the throw game too? Like a 6K gold lead.
I believe it was 22 to 8 at one point.
Well, no, the gold lead.
I believe I think at one point you hit the 10,000 mark prior to just losing it away very, very quickly. I think I want to say it's at 19
around
minutes.
8,000 at 18 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's a pretty serious throw.
By 10 minutes later in the game, you were behind. Like it is crazy. Yeah. And then
I mean, we had a 2,000 gold lead at 4 minutes. Like it was absurd.
And then the second thing, Drysicle is the biggest pickup this tournament as opposed to any other one. That player is phenomenal. He was doing freak shit with the Darius. It was a level of play that made me envious. And for a moment, I wanted to play League of Legends again. I wanted to start playing Darius again. It was genuinely beautiful to watch the things he was getting away with. Played that champion to perfection, both in the jungle and in the top lane. I think he puts Promech 080. Yeah, negative impact on the game. No offense, Promech.
Yeah.
That guy is really, really good. He is really, really cool. I like him a lot. And also definitive proof that I know more about the game than Isodidact because I marked it as Darius beats Mundo, and he swears up and down it's a Mundo favored matchup. So,
I mean, maybe for a Mundo OTB, I don't know. But, yeah, like, the Darius just kept one-shotting people. It was kind of insane.
Yeah.
Like, we had a big jungle fight at the Drake, and then after the fact, Promech tries to kill a, like, 400 HP Darius, and he just gets one-shot by it. Like, that's without ult.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Really
fun game, that's for sure.
He has 3 or 4 team fights, like 1v4, 2v4, where he almost dies, hits a Q, full health, kills them all. I think at one point there's a fight I commentate where I say he dies because he gets down to a pixel health. The dust settles and he's just alive. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? Also, just before, right now I'm going to call it out. I'm predicting right here. Promech is going to be watching the premiere of this live, and he's typing, it's not actually a Darius-sided matchup. I just lost the 50-50 at level 4, which costed me my entire lane. No, you didn't. It's a Darius-sided matchup. Look it up, just so we know. Peak cinema. Haumea, do you agree this series was peak cinema?
You know, it's so crazy. I had to catch some of this. And, I'm going to say it live. When I caught this and I saw the score, I was like, why did they play like this against us yesterday? That's literally what I thought. Because I was talking to my team. I was like, okay, guys, I guess we're just second now. But that, because I saw the first game, and I was like, okay, these guys are going to cook. And then I heard they won the second game. I didn't see this game, like the second game. I heard they won it. And I was like, wait, are we first now, maybe? And then I just see this. And I'm just like, what is going on? No way. Because I did see, I think it was Dryskill just like destroy everyone game 1. Like it was not close. I was just like, wow, this guy is putting Promech in the dirt, low key.
Yeah.
And I was literally all I thought is like, wow, why did they play like that against us yesterday? We could have been first.
It's because they hate you.
They had to lock in against us and then against Glue Factory, just completely grief it. All I'm gonna say, maybe collusion between these two teams. I'm not saying it's true,
Ooh.
I'm just saying it could be. That's all I say.
Woof Woof is a
Woof
known
Woof,
snake.
113-7 Anivia. Why did he play that against us? Who knows? That's all I'll say.
To their credit, if they won this game, it wouldn't have affected standings unless V8 contested for third or something like that.
Yeah.
But with how it ended up, if AWB won this, it wouldn't have changed anything.
Oh, I see. Fair then.
So once we won the first game, we were locked. So that's
Oh,
why
I
we just
get it.
kind of
Just for
we
fun.
just
it
did our
was that.
own thing.
By the way, if you want to rewatch this game, it is on youtube.com/verylastnerf. That's where we put all the VODs. You can rewatch the full commentary, everything. Great series. I actually would love to see it chopped up into the intro video that we eventually make. Welcome to GCS style.
I hear this was a
All right.
rare game I got complimented too, so that's a huge dub.
Yeah, I will openly admit, I said it on cast, I doubted your mid lane, and I was pleasantly surprised. You hit a lot of good ultimates, and aside from
I missed
getting
a lot of them, I'll admit.
yeah, but I didn't
I
catch
think I
those.
did okay. Okay,
Aside
but
from
it-
getting soloed by Promech, like I think I was just complimentary of your play the whole game.
Yeah, that was deserved.
Yeah.
I got him back after though, so
Also, just a reminder, mid-season or what is it, mid-scope rework of Neferi will be disabled for 2 weeks, just so everyone knows. Technically, STL brought up that it doesn't come out for 2 weeks and then it's disabled for 2 weeks, so it really could only even be played in the finals as it comes through.
I don't think that'll affect anybody anyways.
Yeah.
Like, probably
What do you
only
mean
Promech plays it.
What do you mean I'm playing it in the finals?
Oh,
I'm leaking it
big.
now.
That he's capping for fun. PP versus MBR is another. PP just trolls, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they play their primary roles in their roster. And MBR just gets to go 2-0. Again, finally getting to. Who is mid? Oh, no.
Is that
Tom
top-
Tua
is that
has to
top-
play
that's
Sunday.
top
That's what it
Tua,
was.
right?
Yeah. They
That's
don't get to
top
play
Tua.
it.
I remember watching this.
Why
like,
is
part of
why
this.
is Brother on Vigar? Who approved that?
Hey man, it worked.
He won? What do you mean, bro?
He
see
did
nothing
get the
wrong.
victory screen, but he lost to this game.
Oh my god, I remember watching this. It was the biggest cloud fiesta ever. Like they fought bot one time and they all died.
I
Like,
also-
both teams everyone died.
I'm also pretty sure this is a game where different goes Gnar ADC. I talked about Gnar ADC earlier metaphysically. I think he is literally Gnar ADC this game. And you get Peter Griefer's AP Jax because that guy is he likes children. Yeah, just so it's known. But different actually.
Yeah, that is in fact different in our ADC. Next game isn't much better. I'll tell you that now.
It's just for funning, and MBR gets like the free 2-0. Like, how do you have an 0-12 Tom Tua and you're not beating him? You're not beating. Well, I guess it's because you have a 22-8.
The 21, yeah.
That's Gumby Power, right? I did not get to watch this game
Yes,
openly.
that is Gumby Power. What's it called?
I guess
Kane.
Gumby is good enough to carry Tom Tua, straight up. Let's look at this second series. I'm very is that I'm seeing a singed here. Is that there's no that has to be Peter Griefer playing singed in the top lane.
Nope.
Wait.
Nope.
What is they can't be singed ADC, right?
It's not. Nope.
Is that
It's just a Singed top lane.
Oh, it's just
Is it different? Is it different on Singed or
No,
something?
it's
than
Levi. It's Levi.
It's Levi singed top lane. That guy also likes kids. That's crazy. He's locking that in there. This is the game.
Yeah, this is different Teemo ADC instead with a Cassio support. I mean, Cassio Teemo Classic, but didn't seem to work very well.
Maybe in that first series they played on Saturday, them locking different roles, they were still trying. They were not trying this game. These are some of the most horrific KDAs I've ever seen. They're looking like
Corky was locked in.
They're looking like 5 VLNs out there.
Wolf level performance from PPs.
Level performance. It's crazy, by the way.
Ouch.
They let Gumby get Echo as well. Who do they ban this game? Shin Ezreal Talon. Yeah, it's just if you don't
Why are they banning Ezreal?
to take it away from Spencer, presumably.
He's not playing.
Oh wait,
no.
they just They just
Take it from Tom Tua.
they
Take it
don't
from
want
Tom
Tom Tua to have it. Tom,
Yeah, makes sense.
dude, Tom Tua, start learning Ezreal top lane. Maybe you'll get to Iron 2 for the first time.
Scouting is hard, man. What can I say?
Yeah, they just, you think you know something about an 8-man roster that you just don't. Congrats, MBR, for getting there. Majin Hollow gets to post this. Real captain of MBR. The streets know.
Despite this, MBR is still 6th, yeah? Yeah.
Yes.
So that
No.
was, unfortunate for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are 6th despite it. And we could see. I think they'll be way stronger in playoffs. I really do.
Yes.
And then Leg versus 2, which is very, very funny because the mid laner for Leg left immediately after the series conclusion. This was their last chance at getting a victory. And 2 kind of proves that they are distinctly well above the bottom tier teams in this tournament. Noticeably, again, Edmund said it himself the best. He did not get trip banned. And when he doesn't get trip banned, it is just GG. And I also believe Hune had to play these games as well, right?
Yeah,
At
he
his
is
series
the Graves
requirement.
dude. And that's what I was saying earlier, where I think he's starting to step into it a little bit. Really good performance from him this game.
Yeah, I hope they can be around because Hune and Monto, I openly too, I don't think that you're going to win the tournament. I do think they might be in potential to play sour for a lot of better teams if they go in underestimating them. And Leg not necessarily better, just openly not better, and you see them kind of get mopped up.
I mean, their fault for picking Aphelios,
True, it's a losing chance. There's no way it has a positive win rate. How's Nefiri mid right now? Haumea, is it a strong champion?
I think it's very polarizing. It's pretty good into certain matchups and bad into other matchups. It just comes down to if she can land her Qs on you and if it's safe for her to dash into you. I think into this champion. Why am I blanking on her name? Aurora.
Yeah.
It's probably not that bad actually. I could imagine because she can't really avoid your all in because Aurora likes to dash away, but if you dash on top of her, it won't work. So it's probably actually pretty good in this matchup. So I'm not surprised that he did well.
Okay.
I'll say there's 220 games in the tourney, 7 Nefiri picks.
And
so definitely not the craziest.
How many of them are winning? I would imagine not a lot.
Couldn't tell you. 3 of them are on Angel of Paper.
So those are 3 losses. No offense, Angel of Paper, if you're listening.
Wow.
That's crazy. What if he just won one?
I would be really surprised.
I think he probably won a game with it.
I saw one Angel of Paper Nefiri game, and I think the only player who's played worse is Tom Tua. No offense for that specific
Tom
game.
Tua was definitely a loss, right?
Yeah. Or no, I don't know if he's played. Maybe he has played Nefiri. Tom Tua.
Didn't Tom Tua play Nefiri? I thought he did.
He does. I don't know if it's been in the tournament though. And then second game, there this first game, you see Leg has some win potential. Like it's there, 12-6, and Nefiri was doing good, especially early. This second game, there's just nothing. Like it is full stacked. This Lee Sin for Hune. I don't know if this is his OTP. I really thought that this was. I watched this game live on Nico's stream. He kind of was just full cracked. I don't know why Nico locks the Tryndamere mid here. That is Tryndamere mid for those who might be curious. And I have a vivid memory of this Lee Sin chasing this Tryndamere full through jungle, and Nico just horrendously mad that he is in the game and is this strong. So it is just absolutely destructive. Aphelios actually wins this game, and Monto, please do not boost that roster. And then, of course,
I actually didn't know Edmund played Aphelios at all, so this was news to me.
I didn't either.
I think Edmonto can play it all.
Now I'm a little scared.
I also want it stated, we talked about this on the STL episode, I'm pretty sure. Top Tower has better performances this whole tournament off of Kled. Put him on Kled.
Yeah.
He's not looking the best. He's not looking so hot. And it was a wrap. I mean, look at your support. If you're like, no offense, Team Curse. I'm pretty sure that's the one playing here.
Yes.
Just done and over with. And that wraps. I think this match is actually what locks 2 over MBR, right? Yeah. And we get to standings where we've recapped it. We've seen it all. We have every game documented, talked about, and discussed, and every team is in the position to prepare for playoffs. We have the bracket made, as we've discussed earlier. Any last statements about standings before we get into the next very special segment?
I'm so glad that fraud team NS is not first, bro. Jesus,
Real.
those guys are frauds. Oh my god.
So real.
I'm telling you now, any series Haumea starts over Darkle, NS loses. Just so it's known.
I'd agree.
True.
He just
I
says
can
it's true.
win.
Haumea, defend yourself.
That guy's so elo.
I am very surprised to see MBR locked 6th. I really thought that they were going to end up in the upper bracket.
The
I mean,
GT upset was really big on that.
The thing with them is they have to play their iron players a lot. Like, they had to play their iron players a lot. I mean, realistically speaking, let's say, for example, they were able to play their main roster. I honestly think they'd probably be in contention for first. I mean, if you think about it, right? Like, their main roster has, like, what? Like, I don't know.
He's
I think
struggling.
their main roster, the lowest player is probably Osha, right?
No, the lowest player on their main roster, if you run Xenix top, Gumby jungle, Yo mid, Osha
No, no, no.
ADC,
Wouldn't it be? No, go on, sorry.
and then Ricardo, Ace Killer,
Oh,
support.
you don't think Ricardo should jungle?
Yeah, it's either Ricardo or Majin.
I think
Because
I
I was thinking you'd have Xenix top, Ricardo jungle, Gumby mid, then you'd have Yu Yate and
Osha's.
Osha or Majin. I'm not sure. Like you would just like, I guess they would know which is better, but that's what
I
I
think the
thought they'd
Osha
have.
Yi combo is better with the flex potential, but it's up to them.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
that's how I take it. Is I think Xenix is going to go top no matter what, but the flex potential unlocked by having Ricardo, Osha, and Gumby in the same game for jungle flexing, and then Gumby and Yate for mid flexing, like that is the power of MBR. Actually, their main roster is strong. I don't necessarily think it's the strongest main roster in the tournament, but it is the flex potential is like
drafts.
You like I've said this for weeks now. You pick who you want to play mid lane. If you ban the Talon Echo, you get Yate and Nivea mid, right? If you ban the Zac, you get Ricardo support instead of jungle. Like you really pick and choose what roster you want to play, because once you ban them, it is pretty obvious who's going to go where. But that just means everyone in their role gets their preferred champions.
Yeah.
Outside of that, every other game they'll probably be playing Tom Tua or my wife, so we should see them losing a lot of game twos. But even their roster with one iron, I think could take some games if people are unexpecting.
I also just noticed that we beat PP's record by 1. It only took them having questionable 3 series.
Yeah, PP are frauds. I think they would be in top 4 for certain. I do not think they'd be number 1 seed. Straight up, barring that
MBR?
I can see that.
PP.
I hope playoffs will agree with that.
Well, I mean, let's talk about playoffs, right? As we get back into it, reminder: upper bracket matches: GF versus Lacuna Matata, GT versus AWB, PP versus Wizards of Wahoo, and then NS. Stupid, by the way, that it's not NC. Just wanted on the record.
Yeah.
Versus SMA. Bottom matches: you have Setalienting against
Loser of
NS Summon Admins, right?
Yes.
And then MBR is loser. Yeah, Luyten's got it.
Just go to the next one.
Yeah, all right.
It'll
We
kinda show itself.
have actually done our official bracket predictions for playoffs from start to finish. Haumea, give us some thoughts and your insight first, since you're first.
Well, after seeing some of the games, I think I actually underrated LM or Lacuna's team. So, I mean, I still think they're gonna lose their series, but I think it's gonna be way closer. Uh, but aside from that, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think every series in upper bracket is pretty obvious, except for my series. I don't really see how Glue Factory loses, nor do I see no way how Poorer Pounders lose either. I think Group Therapy. So I think it'll be a 2-0, but I think it'll be like the closest 2-0 because I think with how good a Loon is and Actually, now I think more about it. That might actually not be as
He's
good
gonna
as I
change
think.
his whole bracket. He's
No,
gonna
I won't
change
change
all
my
this
bracket. I
shit
won't change my
live.
bracket.
He's
I
just
think
saying
the
I didn't
scores,
think about it.
the scores will stay like that. I think it's hard to say. I think we should beat Summit Advents, but it's hard to say because Riddy is obviously a very good player. Gargoomba is a very good player. Tubby's a very good player. I don't know their bot lane that much, so it's hard to say. The concern comes to can we win? Because you would think like the map would be mismatched where they might have the advantage top side and we have the advantage on the bot side. So it's like, can we win that? I think it depends how we play personally. I think if we're all playing well, we should beat them. But I wouldn't be surprised if obviously like I think we're gonna win 2-1. I don't think we're gonna sweep them. So uh yeah, I think that'll be competitive. For the lower bracket, I mean, maybe I'm just confident in AWB. I definitely think if they ban well, like, I don't know why I saw a game of suddenly Inting getting Rengar. I hope that doesn't happen again. I think AWB should win. I think their team has a very clear way they want to play and identity, which I think is very important. I think Alud is very good. I think they'll probably ban Nyla, and it'll be way less of an issue for them. I think mid lane is I think mid lane is the biggest potential for SI to be winning for them. I think if Pyrosis has a good series, it could be very hard for AWB. So I can see this going uh, in SI's way. I think it'll be a very close 2-0. It could be a 2-1 as well. I don't think just because it's a 2-0, it'll be very one-sided. I think Mouth Breathers, I I think they only have to play their Iron players one time.
Yeah.
And I just think their main roster, I think it's hard to imagine a world where with the flexibility they have, they lose against teams that aren't like really star studded, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like you just have the threat of Gumby going to like pretty much any role except ADC, and you don't know who's gonna jungle, you don't know who's gonna play bot. Like you said earlier, you let's say you ban Talon Echo. Okay, well he goes to play jungle, and
Yeah.
then goes mid. If you ban Zach, well Ricardo goes bot. Like you just like you said, you pick the team you want to face. So I guess the ideal strategy would just be to ban in a way where you get the weakest version of mouth breathers. But like I said, I think it's hard for them to lose to a team that's not star-studded. I think you guys should just be LKMT based
Yes.
off what I've seen. I think with them having Sprinkler, it's harder to tell. I don't know that much
I'll
about him.
dog walk that GM, bro. I'll put that GM
Okay,
in the
that's what I
fucking
like to
hurt
see.
locker, bro. I
That's
swear.
what I like to see. Um, I think bigger. I mean, I'm just gonna say it, I think bigger is just better than Lakuda. I think his pool's way bigger. I think he has answers into the Bully Bear if they don't want to ban it. I think your bot lane is also better as well. I think Bubbles is fine. So like I think he could have games where he plays really
V8
well. So
Blaze.
I don't know. I just think you guys should win pretty convincingly. Uh, then so prior to uh, today, I didn't think the World Orders was very good. But it could just be a win if Ed just does not get triple banned. Like if he just like they got a triple ban him every game. Like if they slip up once, they're just gonna lose. So uh, I think the rest of the team is whatever though, and that's why I don't think they'll win because the rest of the team is just not strong enough. And then for GT versus GF, I actually think this is kind of obvious. I think I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't see how Glue Factory wins
Yeah.
because I think it's like how what I said for V8 and NS, where Glue Factory strengths are the same strengths as GT, so they can't like they can't leverage their strengths. Like the mid lane is probably the same, maybe slightly leaning one way. Bot lane is either the same or leaning to GT. Obviously GT's top is weaker, but I think in turn they have the better jungler, and I think jungle and support matters a lot. And while I do think Glue Factory support is better, I think the combination of GT's bot lane is better. And I also just think they play as a team. They don't rely on necessarily one person, where I think Glue Factory relies a lot on Naki and their support. And
Pandemonium.
sometimes,
That's his name.
yeah, Pandemonium, and sometimes they're top as well. But like, I just don't see a world where, let's say, like Naki gets shut out of the game, that they win. I could see a 2-1, but I really just think GT's gonna win. For PPNS, I mean, I didn't really have to think too much on this. I think PP is probably the best team in the tournament. I think Levi is the second best player in the tournament. I think Different's probably the third best player. Uh,
All right, hold on.
I think
Pause right here, Haumea. How are
okay.
you going to say that? I'm not trying to skip ahead, but I'm dying to say this. How are you going to say that about PP and say they beat you, and then say you get to them in the finals and you beat them? I don't. How is this your grand
I'll
finals prediction?
listen. I'll come when I get to that. I'll let you know.
Okay,
So
okay.
uh, I just think their team is very good. They have very few weaknesses. I think their really only weak point is probably mid. Uh, I think, yeah, I just think they're like the strongest team probably. Then for lower bracket, I think again similar thing. I don't see how MBR loses to a team that's not star-studded. I think AWB really is just going with a loon, right? Like
Yeah.
now that they don't have reborn, it's pretty much just a loon.
I mean, they do have
The rest of the
Pior.
roster,
Um,
yeah, but
it's not the
I don't
same.
know.
It's
I
not the
don't
same.
think it's like, but I do think AWB will take a game because I think their core strategy of how they're winning is very solid. I think they can take a game off MBR, especially because they have to play their Iron players, but I don't think against the main roster they can win. Uh, so for Glue Factory and V8, I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think Naki's a massive issue for you guys in this series. I think bot lane, like your guys' bot lane is strong enough to deal with ping spam.
Yeah.
And I also think top lane, you probably have the advantage. Like, I think you guys are only weaker in jungle, unfortunately. So, or like they're only weak. Like Glue Factory's only weaker in jungle, unfortunately. So I don't really see how V8 wins this series. But if they win, like that would be pretty cool. I think maybe they can take a game, but I just don't see how they win this series. And then for WoW versus NS, um, so for me, I think with our main roster, we're just better than their main roster. I think last time we played them, we didn't have our main roster. The first time we played them, we had our main roster. I think, like, definitely not underestimating WoW. I actually do think they can take a game, and I wouldn't be too surprised. I just think if we prepare well enough, uh, they don't really have that many windows to beat us because the way they beat us before shouldn't apply this time.
Okay.
And I think we learned a lot from losing to them about how they play and like what our weaknesses were. So I feel as though we should just beat them pretty clearly.
Okay. Okay.
And then in the round three, I think, like I said, I just think PP is the best team. I do think GT will take a game because I think their bot lane is somewhat comparable, but I think the weakness of their top will show, and I think jungle is also, if I remember correctly, jungle is around the same, but GT has the better mid. So I think with mid and bot, they'll probably take a game. I could maybe see them taking a second game, but I cannot see them winning the series against PP at all.
Okay.
And then for GT and MBR, it's like I said before, I don't see how MBR loses to a star-studded roster. However, GT is a star-studded roster, except for top. So they're just gonna win off that. I
CC Swift,
think
thank you.
the only angle MBR has is their flexibility. I think that's what they have over GT, but I think GT just plays a very sound game fundamentally that I don't think can be broken easily.
My bad. My bad.
Here.
I clicked my mouse.
I'm
That's
almost
my
done.
bad.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Yeah, but yeah, I just think DC's game is too solid. And then for Glue Factory NS, I think Glue Factory's main strength is their support, being able to flex to jungle. And Naki is playing very well. He's playing amazing. So that'll definitely be very hard. I do think we could win because I think the advantage we have is I think the champions we play I think are good. It's the champions that Glue Factory like to play, and I think our drafts are also like cohesive. So like I think our champions all work well together. We have like a clear way of like, okay, how do we progress the game? What's our win condition, etc. So I definitely do think this will be a really close series, but I think it could go either way. But I'm confident in my team being able to win the series.
Okay.
And then for the lower bracket, uh, I definitely think this will go to 5 games because I think, like I said, GT's really only weak point is top. The rest of their lineup is just very solid. I do think we have the better jungle, obviously. I think bot lane is comparable, so it really will come down to me and jungle, in my opinion. Obviously, I think Kessler's a better player than me, but I think because of how my team is, we can afford uh, more bans towards him, which would make it easier for me to play. And I think the flexibility with like our bot lane and jungle will like help us push through.
Yeah.
And then finally for the finals, like you
I'm
said,
very excited for
so
this.
I think at this point, I think with the amount of games we had and like how like seeing why we lost to PP, I think we'd be able to win. I think it's hard to beat PP because I think with how much their players have improved, like if you look at their players, like you just go down, they don't really have a weak point because their worst player is probably their jungle, who is, I think, D1 or Masters. And their bot lane is double GM, so it's very hard to play against them because not only are they all good players, they have like the bot lane pool is immense. Like their bot lane pool is immense. They're very good at lane. Uh, you know, they have like Peter and their jungler, I forget his name, Grape. Uh, they're like they understand exactly what to do. They know how to play around the bot lane. I think the way I would see us winning this series is I think we would just have to play the same way we play now, but just
Which is better.
much better. It's like that's like how like that is like goofy to say,
It's
but like that is just like the way we would win. Like we would just have to play
you just have
the
to,
way we're
yeah.
playing now, but just like much better. Which I do think we should play better in playoffs because I think uh we've like found out how we want to play, and I think we've diversified our way of playing as well. Like because a lot of teams can only really play one way, and if that way gets like interrupted, then they just lose. I don't think that's how we are. So I think like we have multiple ways we can play, and I think by then I think we should have an idea of how we play and how PP plays. I definitely think that series could go either way. Like I wouldn't be surprised if PP beat us again. Uh, like I said, I think they're the strongest team, so
Okay.
like they're the team to beat in my opinion.
Well, I think you're smoking crack, huh, man. I'm going to go to my tier list, okay? Because this tier list is ass. Straight up. Might be the worst tier list ever made. You have yourself losing to PP and then beating PP because you're just going to play better. I'm going to show you what a real tier list looks like. Okay, huh, man?
Okay.
Welcome to VLN's bracket. I'm going to try to go much, much faster. Glue Factory versus Lacuna Matata. I think Lacuna Matata is on fraud watch. I even think with Sprinkler, I unironically think Drycycle can stonewall that player, not let him get too far ahead. As long as you ban Volibear, which I hope Luyten is smart enough to ban Lacuna's Volibear, Glue Factory should smash that series 2-0. GT versus AWB. I think Glue Factory, or excuse me, I would never say that. Group Therapy is the strongest team in the tournament. That is who I have predicted to win the whole thing. And Atomic Whiskey Brigade has Woof Woof. I really can't say more than that. PP versus Wizards of Wahoo. I do think Happier Cat's on Fraud Watch, and I think PP will expose that. I do not think PP is the strongest team in the tournament, though. And I think Nova Chrysalis will beat Summon Admins. I think Summon Admins will take a game off of you only because I think Riddy knows Billy well enough that he will get in his head one game. I think you'll win the first game. Billy will have a bit of an ego. No offense, Billy. Riddy will smite that the second game, take the win for Summon Admins, and then Billy will humble himself, play well, and knock it out in the third game. That's my prediction for that series. Which then gets us into SI versus AWB. I will give SI one game in this series, but historically AWB has smacked that team. So I do think it is them favored. And then you have MBR versus Summon Admins.
You flip that one because you have SMA going.
Wait, yes, I did want to flip that. That's my bad. I do think that Summit Admins is strong enough to take a game off the primary roster of MBR. I'm glad you pointed that out. I was confused by myself. And then they'll get the free win on the Iron game as well. So I think that's where it's going to come down to. I think it'll be a nail biter. I think it will require Riddy to play well. But if Gumby puts himself in jungle for this series, Riddy should eat him alive, is my prediction. Not to glaze Riddy. Lacuna Matata versus 8 Cylinder. Like I said, all of Pool 2 is on Hater Watch. They're on Fraud Watch. I really do think we can 2-0 Lacuna Matata because we know to ban Volleybear. And I think Agu, if he is playing, can play to Stonewall or even maybe play to be a bit aggressive, not necessarily win the lane. Or if I end up having to be in this series, I know I can Stonewall Sprinkler. No offense. He can't stop the VLN mount fight. Okay? I got him on lock. His Kisante can't do nothing to me. And then WoW versus World Orders. As much as I'm on WoW Fraud Watch, I do think they beat TWO because Cat knows to triple ban in Mato. Straight up, you said it in your call. If they triple ban him, then TWO doesn't get a game. I know that they are going to do that. And if they don't, Happier Cat, you get a hold of your team. Bouncing back, Glue Factory versus GT. I can't deny that Glue Factory is a strong team. I think they could take a game off the strongest team. But I think Dry Cycle is significantly better than any top laner Glue Factory has. Group Therapy has. But those players specifically played to not let better top laners just absolutely bully them. And then I think around the map, GT just wins. I think jungle is so favored for Group Therapy. Mid lane is much, much closer, and I do think Naki can beat Kessler. But I don't think that'll ever be enough for Naki to snowball as much as he has. And then Luyten plus Pandemonium, I do think is worse than STL Dumpling. No offense, like that's not even from Luyten hate, just like looking at their play. I think that Dumpling is close enough to Pandemonium that the support gap will not, because bot lane is decided by support, that the individual skill gap between STL and Luyten will also play a factor, and that lane will win for them. But I am charitable enough to give them one win. And then I have Nova Chrysalis actually 2-0ing PP. I really do think PP is on a little bit of Fraud Watch, just a little bit. Keep in mind, Poro Pounder's primary bot lane of Different and Levi lost to Leg double Emerald bot lane in a game. Just so that is fundamentally aware. You'll be able to snake a win because I don't think they always lock in. And then I think it's a coin flip on whoever wins the next game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2-1, but I do think it's a 2-0. AWB just smashed through by Summon Admins like crazy. The jungle gap between Riddy and Woof Woof will cut that game off at his knees. Doesn't matter how good a loon gets. Riddy will be able to eat him alive. I also think they win top lane. Just smash through. Gargoomba will get wins. I do think the bot lane gap is pretty big, but I don't think it's going to matter for a loon. I think he struggles because he doesn't have a good support. No offense to June or Goku. Just bar for bar. V8. I am very confident V8 will beat Glue Factory 2-1 because I have, unironically, put a financial bounty on that game with my team. I told my team at the very start of the season, not even joking, I have the messages, that if we get to finals and beat Glue Factory and then get knocked out, I will consider us having won finals. So I I think they will be playing 110% in that series, which is a little bit of secret information. I think Agu can beat Drysicle openly. I think TV gaps any jungler you put in, even if we leave up the Teemo for Pandemonium. Bubbles is the only point of contention, and I think I've seen Bubbles go neutral, little losing into Naki and customs and stuff, so I believe it's possible as long as he doesn't put too much pressure on himself. Ping Spam Geeky versus Luyten and Pandemonium is tough, but I'm putting more faith into TV that series. That I think TV will be strong enough that then they can 3v2 bot lane and just cut that ability for those to have pressure, is my hope. And then WoW versus PP. WoW's on Fraud Watch. That team gets absolutely obliterated. My boy PP will put down all of our haters. Thank you, Different. Thank you, Peter Griefer. Thank you, Levi. Thank you, Akatsuki. And the mid laner. Thank you, Giraffe Rider. Thank you guys for that. WoW's not that good of a team. We'll last longer than them. GT versus NS. I think you'll get a game. I think you're strong enough to get a game. I think you're gapped in 4 roles in that series. Straight up. Because Banana has lost to VLN top lane in customs. He has played his Alawi into my set and lost the game before. And I think that with hopes we won't see a sad Bananas Alawi like eat through an Ornn. But there's a chance. But I think with GT, even if you get a 6-2 Alawi top lane, they'll actually be able to kill it. I do think that when you fall down, you'll knock out summon admins, even though I think that there's a chance they can get a game off of you with Riddy locking himself in against your team. I don't think it's like necessary. I think they'll get one game and then, like I said, you'll bounce back. It's just literally the repeat of the score from before. And the V8 versus PP, I also think I beat that team. I think my team crushes that team because Peter Griefer's boosted. Okay, Kotsky's actually really good, but he's not TV. Giraffe Riders, no bubbles, and Levi and Different have lost to Leg's bot lane before, and my bot lane is 100,000 times better than Leg's bot lane. No offense to Leg. I think they can lock in, crush him. Though, admittedly, I would not be surprised if we were eliminated at this game. Prior to this, I genuinely would be surprised if V8 was eliminated. I would say that this game's closer to a 50-50. And then NS versus V8, with how convincingly y'all beat us last week, I have very little faith in being able to even get one game off of you. It actually solely rides on TV, which if he's listening to this, I'll probably get a DM. He is capable, I genuinely believe, of carrying us in those series if he can both humble himself and boost his ego at the same time, which sounds impossible, but like I think he is able to compete with Billy. And I think that NS does kind of lose, regardless of the rest of their lane states, if Billy doesn't get ahead. And so he needs to believe he can do it, but also not get too big of a head. But I do think we end up getting 3-0'd, which puts us as Nova Chrysalis versus GT. Best team in the tournament is Group Therapy. I've said it since week 1. I will say it until the tournament is over. And I think Group Therapy takes it very convincingly. And that is my prediction. Just same score going over again. And I guess Luyten can now say, this is a piece of shit bracket. Let me show you a real one.
Oh, yeah. You better believe it, because take Haumea's, copy it a little bit, change it up a little bit, and you got mine. So I agree for the most part. Pretty much just I'm on my team, he's on his team, so we switch there. And because we're on different sides of the bracket, that ends up with GT going a little shorter. I think Haumea is right in that I think they're a really damn strong team. But I hope my team is better. So I got that. My biggest thing, since I don't want to run on too long after talking about every single match from 2 people, I actually have Lacuna beating 8 Cylinder. I think they can probably do that. I think 8 Cylinder is going to struggle a lot more in playoffs than they did in regular season. And I think it depends a lot on Sprinkler
fuck
and
this
Solar
guy,
Play.
bro. Straight up, fuck this guy. What happened to Pool? We were talking about Pool 1 Allegiance, and you put us losing?
Yeah, I think you guys are bad. Sorry, bud. TV's on Fred Watch. What can I say? I mean, I do put a little more faith in AWB, albeit that heavily depends on a little bit of coin flipping from a certain person. So you got that. But for the most part, I think PP is one of the strongest teams in the playoffs. I agree with Haumea on a lot of his points. But I think my team has what it takes, and I'm going to steal what's it called? I'm going to steal EVAP's bracket prediction from the Fearless draft, pretty much. So
This shit is ass, by the way. For you to lose 2-3 and then put yourself winning 3-0
Hey,
is like
we swept EVAP's
that
team
is crazy.
in the upper finals and then got absolutely washed in grand
This
finals.
is like-
It's not unprecedented.
Haumea, can we agree that this is the worst of the 3 brackets?
It is because how do you go from the closest series of all time? You just stop them. Like, are you just gonna activate? Like,
He's just
Yeah, it's easy, bro.
that shit shit's
Like,
just
the whole
awful.
lineup-
Really,
The whole
realistically, it
the
could
whole
be
lineup
3.
is gonna lock
like-
in random. They're gonna say, "Okay, now we're playing for real." And
It's just- they're like, guys, let's troll the first time we play them, and then we'll bounce it back. Thank you, Luyten, for keeping it up. We have crossed the 2-hour mark, by the way, so we could go into WWPQ's gambling section. Unless, is there anything else you want to say? Anything?
No, it's good.
Okay, how many teams trolled their last match?
I might be at the question marks. I'm not sure if another team did, but I'm pretty sure it's just this.
I do think it is just these 3, straight up.
I think you said 3,
Yeah, I think I did.
so kudos to you there.
I'm kind of the smartest. I kind of know every team on an intimate and sexual level.
oh,
Well,
Okay.
I didn't mean to say it like that.
Mm.
Then we have who gets first in Group 1, which is Glue Factory, which I did not believe in. I will say that.
Unlucky.
But I do think I predicted the GT
Yeah,
being Group 2. What was your predictions, Lynn?
I think it was this. I'm not 100% sure, but
Well, yeah, you kind of
I'm gonna say
have
it
to
was
believe
this.
in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the G's. What can I say?
Yeah, girlfriend and girl. I can't. I can't say the word I wanted to say.
Let's not continue that one.
And then will a team get DQ'd? Yes, they both. Well, arguable on this one, right? Because FF and
Yeah,
MDFC
I
were
wasn't
already
sure.
eliminated.
They're eliminated, but they still got DQ.
They are technically disqualified. If for some reason other teams have been disqualified, they could not have been playoff contentions.
Yeah.
So I guess technically it does count.
That would have been fun to figure out.
This was a shock. This
Yeah,
was
this one. That was brutal.
it's fuck that touch
don't-
vigor guy.
We didn't get a
bro.
single team right on the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Because I think we all predicted VSI or WoW. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Or none of us picked it. We all predicted WoW and
Fuck
07.
Happier Cat and WoW, by the
or
way.
AWB and 07.
If you're watching this, Cat, fuck you for what you said. I have it snipped, by the way. I have a photo of it. I will post it if people ask me to when this premieres. Because it's titled, "In Case I Need TV to Play Better." And it is just Happier Cat hating on us.
You gotta print it and put it in front of his monitor.
Yeah. And then NBR get in the top 4 in their group. This is really surprising for it to be no.
It was close, but unlucky.
Unlucky. And then, we have our MVP votes. This is beautiful, Luyten, I want to say. I didn't know that this segued right into it.
Great, but
But yeah, MVP votes went out for those who are unaware of what that is, in case your captain didn't tell you. We, as an admin team, reduced total pool of like all together players. We announced this last week to vote on like a smaller pool, and then gave every captain the ability to vote one time as the team for the collective MVP voting. So Luyten has it as top 3. Luyten, you did this, so I'm gonna let you take it away.
I mean, I'll be releasing the votes and like how close it was. This one, it was close for a little bit, but then Billy kind of ran away with it, which isn't too surprising, honestly. I think Edmund, if you view MVP a certain way, definitely deserves the shout out, especially at a solid second. And it actually, I just realized it was a tie for third with different.
Okay.
So unlucky on that. But
Haumea, as acting captain of Nova Chrysalis, you get to accept Billy's MVP award. Do you want to say any words on his behalf?
Yeah, I mean, he's by far our best player. It's not even close. And he's also like our shot caller as well for a lot of plays. He does a lot actually for our team.
Well, shout.
So it's like Yeah, I'm not surprised he won it. I mean, I definitely think if we didn't have Billy, we'd be a way worse team. We might actually have been. No, I can't say that. I was gonna say we might have been almost FF level,
That's
and that's definitely
crazy.
not true.
Wow.
That's
The
crazy.
rest of my team is good. The rest of my team, we probably would. We'd be more middle of the pack, I think, just because of how much he does for the team. Not even just his skill, obviously, though he's really good, but he does a lot for the team. He's also he's also like good for us mentally because if we are like losing, he keeps us in the game. So I actually do appreciate that a lot.
Okay. Shout out to Billy. Congratulations. You're the most valuable player. Please note that Dumpling will now think this is rigged because Gumby Power did not win. GG. Moving.
Wait, let me say something real quick about that. I remember seeing the argument for it. I I don't know, cause like I do think they're different things. Best player and can we even do we have time to even talk about this? Am I just like jelling you guys
I mean,
saying
it's
it?
about to be 1 a.m. for me. We're
My bad.
recording
I'm
way
jelling you
later.
guys. I'm jelling you
I'm gonna get us through this. You know what I mean? We gotta.
That can
My
be a
bad.
yap fest later
Yeah.
when we
I'm
release
jelling
the
you guys. My
numbers.
bad.
It's okay, Haumea. I think you're cute. So,
Thank
on to
you.
the PvP award, also known as PV Powerhouse. These are particularly for the higher PV players, i.e., your worst players, and how well they have been performing, and if they've been performing above expectations. Yet again, we have a Nova Chrysalis victory with Darkle, very good friend of mine, Matthew. So I guess we can let Haumea take that one as well.
Dude, Matthew's just the GOAT. It's actually low key crazy because the first series against Glue Factory, he actually played really well. He's played well like 90% of the game.
Don't ban a
So,
gold player as a collie.
True.
dude, they're so terrified of him banning his picks. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think he played really well in a tournament where a lot of the players are like Diamond Plus in his role. I think he performed very well. I'm very happy with how he performed. Thanks, Matthew. I'm glad I drafted you. You played really well.
I'll say I think this one was by far the most deserved, and it showed in the numbers. This one was not even close. He had almost 40% of the vote.
Yeah, but then you see 2 and 3 are 8-cylinder players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was drafting, and then I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm up there. I'm sure I'm a PV Powerhouse contingent player as well. So like basically 2, 3, and 4 are the best performing low elo players, all on 8-cylinder, right?
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and then Luyten, go ahead and give us our Rookie of the Year award. I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Um, I actually, I don't know. I didn't really think about this one. I kind of let whoever was voting decide on it. I didn't want it to just be like best player or whatever. I said that their interaction in the community was also worthwhile. So I'm surprised to see Grape not perform as well, but I think Levi definitely deserved it. So
Yeah,
I think all three here deserved it. It was a tough one to vote for this one, honestly.
Dude, Levi is perma in the chat
Yeah.
and VC. I don't know.
That's
The
true,
chill
yeah.
guy. I hope he stays up in the
chill
tournament.
and nonchalant. I do. That is also what I want to say is like a TO, which might sound weird. All 3 of these players this applies to. So if you're hearing it, it applies to you. They've been around. They've been very social. They've been very interactive, and they have helped to bring in other people. I also want to give a particular shout out to Levi because he has also just been like a good guy to hang out with. He's pretty funny. He's chill and nonchalant, and he lies about his height, but like he's a cool guy all in all. And I also hope he stays around.
Yeah, W Levi.
W Levi.
W all three of them. I like all three of
in the
guys.
chat, W Levi. And that takes us to the end of GCS Week 7, wrapping up playoffs. Any official announcements? Watch Duo or Dodge. It should be, with this episode, be in an hour from when this premiere ends. It will be live on GCS League. Watch Levi, winner of Rookie of the Year, find his love interest. I will not.
Wife.
Yeah, his wife. He wants me to say find his ABG, but I'm not comfortable saying that.
I'll say it. Watch Levi find his ABG wife.
That's crazy.
1 hour from now. Live.
That's crazy. Yeah, man.
But Riley, where will this be? Where can they watch
www.twitch.tv/GCS League. That is www.twitch.tv twitch.tv/GCS League.
Live, by the way, guys.
Live.
That could be you one day. You could be in Levi's shoes.
Dude, we could set you up with women. I know we're going late. I have to say this. I have to get sappy. I get sappy at the end of every regular season. I have fucking loved this tournament. Despite the headaches it has caused me, I'm addicted to this format. I think it has been great. We have met a lot of great people. It has been competitive. And I think it will still go down as the best tournament I think I have ever ran. The content we have produced, Haumea, you get to be a part of this now that you're a part of it, but also Luyten, huge shout out to you. Huge shout out to every guest that we've had so far.
Dumpling.
Yeah, Dumpling has been...
Dumpling especially.
Dumpling is actually such a valuable member of this community.
Solo carries... You don't even understand how valuable Dumpling is to this community. Not only is it the content and the editing, he has been like a very good advisor to me during times that I freaked the fuck out and did not know what to do. We're just in a good spot. And I think that this tournament was good, the best we've ever done. And the next one we run will be 100 times better than this one. I say with genuine, real confidence. All that to say, stick around, right? Luyten's falling asleep at the microphone right now. Do y'all see that? Did anyone just see that? That's crazy.
It's only 2 a.m. here, man. Come on.
I've been up since 6 a.m.
That's a wrap, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Running the Gauntlet. We'll see you next week.